This is Mike Bellevue, and I'm here at the 2015 edition of the Fort Roberdeau Market Fair and Rifle Frolic. And let's go take a look around. Fort Roberdeau was also known as the Lead Mine Fort, and it was built in the spring and summer of 1778. And it was set up to protect settlers in the region, as well as to guard the new lead mines in Sinking Valley that were used during the American Revolution. This area was really under attack by Tories who supported Great Britain and by Native Americans. And it was extremely dangerous for anyone to live here, so local settlers used the fort as well as the soldiers. One interesting thing about Fort Roberdeau is the way it's built. Most wooden frontier forts look like this. This is Prickett's Fort in West Virginia. As you can see, the logs are set upright in pickets, just like a picket fence. But that's not the case at Fort Roberdeau. At Fort Roberdeau, the bedrock was so close to the surface of the ground that they just couldn't dig the fence posts deep enough to set the pickets upright. So they were forced to build the fort laying the logs horizontally, which really gives it a different look. Fort Roberdeau is really two separate but conjoined events. There is the market fair at the fort, and of course the fort itself. And then there's a Rifle Frolic. And what you're seeing in the picture here are the two different medallions for those. The one with the small 3 is the camper's medallion for the market fair. And the one with the big FR is the medallion for the Rifle Frolic that lets you go and shoot all of the events. Now my buddy Bill Johnson and I, and that's Bill over on the right, were camped right outside the fort. And there was plenty to do down here. The Maryland Company of Yeager's Battalion of Rogers Rangers manned the fort, but they were portraying Bedford County militia.
Shoulder your fire lock. Present. Arms.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Shoulder your fire lock.
Yeah.
Secure arms.
Yeah, we used to go to the East.
Shoulder your fire lock.
We like Fort Frederick better.
Oh, yeah, I've been there a lot. Order. Arms.
Inside the fort, there are a series of really snug barracks that the militia company can man during the event. Inside the fort, there were displays of militia weapons and equipment and tactics.
Take that corn, a handful of it, put it in your mouth, chew it
gonna
up
announce
really
him?
good, swallow it. Take 8 ounces of water
Maryland
and drink
Company, fall in.
it. It fills up
Are you
your
gonna announce to the
stomach.
kids though that we're doing it?
And you're good probably for 3, 4, 5
Annual of
hours
arms.
on that. So I can live with that loaded 4 days probably.
And also inside the fort, we've got working artisans plying 18th century crafts. I'm here with Dick Toon, and he's a member of the Honorable Company of Horners, and of course they make powder horns and other horn items.
And this is a butt plug. What I'm doing here is a butt plug. I'm just going to do a little turning on it just to show you how this thing works. It's called a spring pole ring because there's a piece of wood in the back that I spread apart, and when I let up on it, it springs back. So push down, it springs back. There's the pole, spring pole. Now it only turns, it only cuts when I turn it toward me, so I have to time my tool to the rotation, because it doesn't turn all the way around. As soon as I went to a lathe that turned with a big wheel, and it turned continuously, it was automatically twice as fast.
Now tell me again where the original of this is.
The original's at Old Salem in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's just like a Williamsburg, but it's all original buildings. Everything down there is original. They have an original down there that they have made a reproduction. This part of this is called a mandrel, which allows me to turn in free air. As you can see, by putting a face plate, I can now have something that's just hung out here. Normally you turn between a center here and a center there. Put your cord around the stock, and you make the chair leg out of this portion of it. But this allows you to do this. All these components to make that horn, like this. all of these pieces are made on this lathe. That's the butt plug. And the reason you want to have a professionally made horn, or the reason they made them, if you heat this horn to 300 degrees, push it over top of a form like this to make it round, you turn a piece of wood in the butt plug and you make it round to round doesn't leak. Whereas if you're trying to carve to the shape of a horn like that, who knows how long it takes you to make it fit.
With Dan Eisenhower, another great horn maker. And Dan, what are you working on today?
Right now, I'm just basically just scraping a horn, a bunch of them to see what I can make out of them. Sometimes this is my spoon mold to make spoons. Make little horn spoons, male and female. This is my little pattern, and the better spoons are laying over there on the table. But this is my pattern to make spoons.
Let's take a look at them.
Now here's my own personal big spoon, but there, see the little ones there? That's what I made out of that mold.
That is really amazing. During the event, the fort was attacked a couple of times by Tory and Indian forces, but our boys drove them off. Along the south wall of the fort, the vendors were set up for the 18th century market fair, where you could buy materials to outfit your camp or your person. Mike Beath's tent is where I spent some of my hard-earned money. Mike forges some great knives and belt axes. These are some of the belt axes forged by Mike B. And some of the fighting tomahawks. I mean, just absolutely beautiful work. But this bag is what I bought from Mike. This is going to join my fleur-de-lis decorated powder horn in servicing my French fusee smoothbore. Mitch Yates, who's one of the top rifle builders in the country, was set up out on Vendors Row, along with a lot of other top craftsmen. The walls of the fort are being rebuilt, and all the logs are being hand-hewn, just as they would have been in the 18th century. Entertainment was provided all day at the market fair by Randy and Josie Brendel, Echoing Heart Productions. So while all of this was going on at the fort, about a mile away through the woods at the Altoona Rifle and Pistol Club, we had the muzzleloading Rifle Frolic going on. This is the third year for this event, and over the last couple of years, most of the camping has moved up here, away from the fort, and up to the Altoona Rifle and Pistol Club, where the Rifle Frolic courses are. Tim Williams got all the way out in the woods to set up his primitive camp. At the Rifle Frolic, there were a variety of matches. There were cross-stick events, offhand events, novelty matches, and woods walks. There were several different woods walk courses this year. This one was a team event that Bill Johnson and I took part in, and we were the team right behind my friend Ed Zaransky and his partner. Ed Zaransky taking a shot on the woods walk. Well, this event just gets better every year, and I hope I can see a few more of you out there next year.